I'm 35, beautiful, unmarried, with no children, and I'm supposedly a red flag. Last week, my friend and I went out for unlimited lobster, racked up a big bill, drank loads of cocktails, went home to our respective houses, and napped. Stop asking me when I'm going to have children and get married. Why would I give this up?
Have you noticed how today we hear more than ever about freedom, self-discovery, and female independence? Yet we've never had so many successful, mature, well-traveled women who are completely alone. Today, I'm going to show you 4 real stories of women who achieved everything, except what truly matters. Women who chase careers, spirituality, travel, self-work, endless inner journeys, and now at 39, 37, 48, and 35 years old, are realizing that the world didn't stop to wait for them.
So I am officially 39 and single with no kids. This lighting, where I am is making me look so dark. I'm not actually this dark, but I feel really good in the sense of like, I've just decided to surrender. I went on a run yesterday and I was just thinking about God, and I was like, God knows the desires of my heart. And I feel like for the last few years, I've been really intentional about going on dates and meeting new people and feeling like if I'm not doing these things, then XYZ is not come. And I do think that there is like some truth to that. Like, you do need to put yourself out there and you do need to be willing, but it started to become from a place of like performance, in the sense of like, I have to be doing these things or I will not get what I want. And it started to just feel inauthentic to me. And I'm still going to put myself out there, but I just don't want to stress about any of this anymore. I just don't. It's not worth my time. And there's been things in life, whether it's a relationship or money issues or just living situations. And I think we've all been through those situations where we think, oh my God, this is the worst. I'm so stressed, and you're losing sleep about it. And then a few years down the road, you're like, why was I ever stressed about that? Everything works out in its time. And I just have to live from that perspective of God knows the desires of my heart. At the end of the day, I'm a good person. I'm bettering myself. I'm going back to school and I'm doing these things to try to improve my life. And what happens is going to happen, but I can't live my life feeling stressed that I'm not going to hit these particular landmarks. And it feels like a good place to be for me right now.
From the perspective of a man with traditional values, the most striking thing is that she didn't surrender. She rationalized her loneliness to make it bearable. The spiritual, soft, self-help filled tone hides a harsher truth. She chased success, independence, and experiences, and now tries to convince herself that time doesn't matter. But it does. At 39, she's realizing that the milestones she claims she no longer chases are the very ones that weigh the most. Building a family, creating a legacy, being chosen by a man of value. The serenity she presents is an emotional defense, because when a woman realizes too late that a career doesn't hold you at night, there's nothing left but acceptance, just to avoid falling apart.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm 37 and I'm currently unmarried and child-free, and my intention is to interrupt the little highlights reel that is on your page, or any burden that you might be feeling to be someone or somewhere else. There are lots of question marks in my life right now, and I know many people in my shoes, they would not like it. But I have never been as mentally and emotionally regulated as I am now, knowing myself inside out. And I'm so grateful to be at this stage of my life and know myself in the way that I do. I'm not much of an oversharer. I've been making content for years, and I don't like the space that much. But I do think it can be a great tool if we use it in the right way. I've never been an oversharer, and I don't really see that changing, but I do think that there could be some interesting things to get a window into. I'm currently building more of my life in the way that I want it to look, and I want to share more of what that being in process looks like. I'm just going to add, by the way, because I know I can sometimes come across well on camera, or it doesn't quite translate in that way, but in a lot of ways, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm learning a lot. Two ways of saying the same thing, but there we go.
This woman tries to turn uncertainty into a virtue. She talks about self-knowledge and being emotionally regulated, yet openly admits she has no idea what she's doing. That's the core paradox. Modern women were taught to seek internal stability without building external stability. But in the real world, family, marriage, and responsibility are exactly what makes someone emotionally stronger. What we see is a 37-year-old trying to give meaning to her lack of direction by calling it a process. But to a traditional man, this only shows a woman who spent so long developing herself individually that she forgot adulthood requires concrete decisions, not eternal inner journeys.
I'm 47 years old. I am going to be 48 in November, and I have never been married, and I don't have kids. And there are people who will look at me and have said to me to my face, and they're like, Scarlett, I don't understand. You're a good-looking woman. You have a lot of things going for you. You have a great personality. Why is it that you've never been married? Like this is some sort of like character flaw. Like somehow I'm missing something. And I never really answer their question because I'm like, that is just a bullshit thing to say to a person. Like that's somehow something's wrong with me that I've never been married. So here's the thing. This is my answer right now. I'm going to give it to you. The reason why I have never been married is because one, I've never been asked, and two, I've never met someone who I truly wanted to marry. Like I've been in a few relationships. I've been single longer than I've been in relationships, for a couple of reasons. One, I find that I do better as a single person. I grow more. I am happier. I feel like I have more, like my brain, it's like freed up more when I am sans man, versus when I am in a relationship, because I don't know what is it with my lizard brain, but I become consumed when I'm in a relationship. But then I also get nervous and I'm worried, and all of these other emotions come up when I'm in a relationship. So I truly find that I have become the person I am today because I have been single for such a long time. So with that being said, like I said, like I've never been asked, but when I've broken up with my exes, and I think back to it, and I think like of all, I go and do like a postmortem of the relationships, I am grateful. I am so grateful that we didn't get married. I'm so grateful that we didn't have kids together, that I didn't have to go through that, because these were not people that I think about it. Like when you're in the relationship, you don't see it, but when you get out of it, I was like, this isn't the person. Like, I am so grateful that I did not marry this person, that I did not spend a ton of money on a wedding with this person, that I don't have children, that I have to be stuck with this person. Like, I am grateful. And I am going to be 48. I'm perimenopausal, so my window of opportunity to have kids is like closing quickly. And for a minute, I thought about it, and I was like, most of my life, to me, kids were like a nice to have, but not a need to have, because I recognize that even in the best of circumstances, raising children is hard. And I've never felt like I was in that best of circumstances to raise kids, and I never felt like they were a necessity in my life. There are some people who do feel that way, and that is perfectly fine if that is how you feel, but for me, that was never the case. So I'm perfectly content. I'm perfectly happy. I did go through a period where I was like, man, should I have kids when I had the chance, because that window is closing quickly. But I think about my life, and I think about like what my life would have been like had I had kids. It would have been so much harder. It would have been so much harder. I wouldn't have been able to do all the things that I've had the chance to do. I probably wouldn't have started my own business. I'd probably have to move to Florida and live with my parents to help me raise my kids. Instead, like, I get to live on my own in a beautiful town, and I get to explore, and I don't have to worry about things. Like, every once in a while, my sister will loan me her dog for a week, and I'm like, take this dog back. He's too much work for me. And then I'm like, you don't even want a dog. Do you think you want kids?
This is the most common and the saddest Chomatwasishin storyline. At 47, she tries to turn the lack of options into a personal choice. She says no one ever proposed to her and claims it's better this way. But the truth is, no man seriously looking to build a family ever saw 47 her as a priority. Now she tries to rationalize it all after the fact. Good thing I didn't have kids. Good thing I didn't marry. I have more freedom now. But this freedom only appears after the biological cost becomes irreversible. When a woman spends decades prioritizing autonomy, the world doesn't wait. The dating market closes. And now, with menopause almost settled in, all she can do is give meaning to what's left, because admitting that time has passed would be too painful.
Unmarried, childless, never been married, 31 to 35-year-old women are defined by their mobility. They are women on the move. Pretty much every woman I know who's in this cohort is either about to move, has moved recently, or is completely mobile all the time because they're some kind of digital nomad. I don't know, I don't have a ton of friends who are single, never been married, and exactly like me, but the ones I do have are like reluctant digital nomads or some equivalent of it. They've had to go on some kind of almost like spiritual pilgrimage within the last 12 months. And I think that makes us like a little bit difficult to date. Like I know it does for me, because if I look back to the guys that I've dated in the 2 years that I've been nomadic, I always get my hopes up that things are going to work out, but I'll be going on a date with a guy and he's like, I don't want to be in a long distance relationship. And I'm like, but maybe I'm moving back to DC. And then, and then I leave and then we text for 1 or 2 days and then it falls off and then I feel disappointed. And then he's like, sorry. And then I'm like, I'm coming back. I'm coming back for you, baby. I'm coming back for you. And then, except for it's never for him. And then I actually didn't ever end up moving back to DC. Instead, I went to Europe. But the thing is, I'm not alone. I have friends who are like, oops, made a spiritual pilgrimage to Phoenix. Oops, I did a cross-country road trip across the US. Oh, I moved out of my apartment in Richmond and I'm in Seattle now. Every woman in this age group is on the go. She's like, I can't take it anymore.
She perfectly represents a generation raised to live experiences instead of building roots. Always moving, always on a spiritual journey, always starting over, and therefore completely unable to sustain a relationship that requires stability. Traditional men don't build families with someone who always has a suitcase ready. Emotional and geographic nomadism may look like freedom, but deep down, it's just an escape from adult responsibility. She even admits it. She loves to imagine things will work out, but abandons everything the moment she moves to another city. In the end, these women realize far too late that you can't build a family when your entire life is temporary.